and this is going to be your freelancer playbook. So you will have seen a ton of these how to become a freelancer videos. Start with things like update your LinkedIn profile, get an invoicing system, all of that stuff. But what those videos do is skip out an entire step, which I personally think is even more important because it really gets you in the mindset of freelancing and it gets you into the headspace before you even start to put pen to paper on strategy or buying tools or creating fancy proposals. So if you're really serious about wanting to become a freelancer, then grab a notepad and a pen because there's actual practical steps in this video that we want to leave you with to help you get into the mindset of the most successful freelancers. The step one is to understand your why. Like, why are you going freelance? Because it's actually really not that enjoyable a lot of the time. It's really tough and it's not for everyone. So what's your reason why? And good examples of reasons why from all of the freelancers that I've spoken to over the past few years include freedom. But within freedom, what does freedom look like to you? Because your freedom might be really different to my idea of freedom. Freedom can include things like being able to work when you want to work, but also include things like, I definitely want to pick my kids up from school, or I definitely want to make sure that I have the freedom to make sports day. So if freedom, in inverted commas, is a word that you affiliate with freelancing, make sure that you affiliate it in the right kind of way for you personally. It's an absolutely valid excuse and a reason to go freelance, but just make sure you understand your why and why freedom knits together. Another great example is that people want to get back on the tools. So of the senior level freelancers we speak to, a ton of them have made it to management level and are now people and problem managing as opposed to campaign managing. And they really have lost their love for the channel that they specialize in. So they want to go freelance so they can go back managing campaigns or creating designs or writing content or whatever channel it is that you operate in. This step is so crucial in terms of why, because there will be really hard days in freelancing. It sucks a lot of the time. It really does when you're doing your own invoicing, when you're sat in a room by yourself. Like, this is where I sit all day, every day by myself. When you are struggling to get payment out of clients, when you're negotiating, when you're battling all sorts of other bits and problems that come with freelancing, you're going to have to remember why you're doing it. So to miss this step cuts out that whole mental foundation of the correct mindset for how to succeed as a freelancer, as opposed to just exist as one. So make sure you get this step right and make sure you remember your why. So the second critical step is to understand how you're going to be a freelancer. And we do that by looking at where we've got experience in the past and where we've added value. So this theory works whether you are a graphic designer, an SEOer, a copywriter. Whatever your channel is, your specialism is, you will have solved problems at some point along the way. Because as freelancers, we don't just deliver a service, we add value and we solve problems. So to give yourself the confidence before you get anywhere near freelancing that freelancing is right for you, I strongly suggest, and this is a bit where you get a notepad and pen because this is a really integral step, is to write down where you have added value in the past during your employment days. And you might be currently employed right now, so do that for where you are now. And now the best way to break these down is to start very high level and think of exactly what problems you've solved and how you've solved them. Now, what that gives you is an extremely solid way to understand which types of clients and sectors will have the lowest barrier to entry for you as a freelancer. And then what we want to do is start categorizing those problems and how you've solved them into things like sector. So are there common themes? Have you worked more on fashion clients or car clients or travel clients? Have you worked more for digital agencies or media agencies, or have you worked more client direct? And I'm not talking big old testimonials, case studies, big essays. These are really sharp, short one-liners as to what problems you've solved and how you've solved them throughout your entire career. And you should end up with something really nice. So check my very high-tech whiteboard and end up with something like this. And this is going to be your freelancer playbook. No exciting tech, no expensive software, no anything other than a whiteboard or a notepad, and understanding your why and the value that you add, so that when you go freelance, you'll not just be a freelancer, but you'll be a super successful one too. So step 3, as we alluded to in step 2, is that once you've got your lovely little sale as a black book, you can then start to plot the types of clients that you'd like to work with. And we've actually done an entire video on the different types of clients from agency, brand, etc., which I'll link up here and over here for you to delve into as well, to give you an idea of the types of clients that you can work with as a freelancer. When I went freelance, I did test the water with an in-house brand, a couple of in-house brands, when my background was predominantly agency. But I also freelanced for agencies, and I found my love within agencies. I absolutely love the diversity they bring. I love the team support you get. I love the camaraderie you get from agencies. And that, for me as a freelancer, was my real sweet spot. For you, that might be different. You might like in-house fashion brands. You might like auto brands. You might like lead gen clients. You might like e-com clients. But whatever that is, start to layer all of that pre-work that we've done in step 2, where we've defined the value you've added and the problems you've solved, the types of clients that not only you have worked on, but that you would like to specialize in the future. Now, to caveat that, not every single freelancer gets to work on the types of clients they want to work on constantly. But what it does give you is a really solid idea of what type of clients you enjoy working with, because at the end of the day, the whole point of going freelance is to have that element of choice. And if you know what you want to choose, then you're in a really good spot to become a really successful freelancer. And step 4 is to now start thinking about, who do you know? I was in agency life for nearly 10 years before I went freelance. And when I got to 10 years, the other people that I'd grown up within an industry with were now kind of head of departments or senior account managers or head of client services or directors. So they all had the certain title that would be in a decision-making position as to whether they partner with freelancers or not. Going to be those existing relationships that you've got that are going to be, again, related to the lowest barrier to entry. And the lowest barrier to entry is a critical theme to remember for new freelancers, because it's going to be your quickest way to your first paid invoice. It's really, really simple, but it's not easy to do from a mindset perspective. But if you go through this process and you get organized and you understand how you've added value, where you've added value, and the types of clients you've added value for, you automatically create this really nice little salesy potential client black book of who you're going to target when you get to freelancer stage. So 5th and final and most important is start before you're ready. And the reason is that most important step is because it gives you a brilliant runway and an amount of time to really critique whether freelancing is going to be right for you. And even then, with all of the prep work, you're never going to 100% know until you actually do it. But there is a certain amount of due diligence that you can do in those first 4 steps that we've covered to help you understand whether freelancing is really right for you. And when I say start before you're ready, I really mean drilling into why you want to be a freelancer. What are you missing? Like, what is employment not giving you that you think freelancing can give you? Do you really like uncertainty? And do you really like not being able to know if you're going to be paid 1 month or not? Or do you prefer the safety net of employment? And there is no right or wrong reason with this at all. But the beauty of starting before you're ready to freelance and when you're still employed means that at least you get plenty of time to mull it over. There's no pressure, there's no need, there's no urgency to do anything. You can just sit back and chill and chip away at your whys and your hows and your what value you'd bring and all of these lovely things that we've chatted about without worrying when your next paycheck's coming. Now, if you're on the fence with freelancing, or if you're looking for some down-to-earth tips and tricks as to how to become a successful freelancer, tune in, because that's the kind of stuff we cover. No hustle, no 6 figures in 6 months with no experience, BS. Just down-to-earth, realistic tips to successfully thrive as a freelancer.